But the fact of the matter is, y'all don't have the votes. You don't have the margin to get from A to B to C. And so how does this get you closer?
I categorically reject that we don't have the votes for a budget.
Hold on a second, Matt. The Republican Party, like Ken Buck, to produce a result that as of now has no solution. So what's your response to that?
Well, the solution's quite easy. We should get to electing a new, more conservative, more trustworthy speaker immediately. And I'm calling on Patrick McHenry, who currently is the Speaker pro tem, to reconsider the decision that he just made to send everyone in Congress home for a week. This is not the time to go home for a week. We should stay and elect a new speaker. That's the path ahead. As far as the criticism that I worked with Democrats, the yellow brick road of working with Democrats was paved by Kevin McCarthy. Whether it was the debt limit deal, whether it was the continuing resolutions, this is a guy who was willing to partner with conservatives on the frivolous, but whenever there was a spending matter, he partnered with Democrats. That said, Speaker McCarthy's time is over. I wish him well. I have no personal animus to him. I hope he finds fruitful pastures, and I'm certain he will. But we've got a job to do here. This is about the job. This is about keeping our commitment to have single subject spending bills.
Wasn't Matt Gaetz the guy when they was trying to see who was going to become Speaker of the House, and they was asking them who they wanted to be Speaker of the House, and Matt Gaetz yelled out Donald Trump. He yelled out Donald Trump is now name.
And an actual budget for the first time.
Congressman, we've already established tonight that I have been doing this with all due respect decades longer than you. Okay, you're a young guy, and so I agree with all.
I don't believe that, Laura. Did you start when you were like 3? You
right. Continuing resolutions, the budget, the spending, it's a total nightmare. But the fact of the matter is, y'all don't have the votes. You don't have the margin to get from A to B to C. And so how does this get you closer?
I categorically reject that we don't have the votes for a budget.
Hold on a second, Matt. How do you get closer to all these things that are legitimate concerns when you still have a Senate that says no can do? I mean, you got several senators who are actually completely on the other side on a lot of these issues.
Right.
You still have that to contend with. So how do you get to your nirvana points, which are the conservative holy grail points of governance, the way we're going?
The Senate Senate does not control how the House approaches its spending business.
All right, hold on, Congressman. Hold on, because we got to go to McCarthy now. He's speaking live, but then you can respond on the other side.
If Reagan gave us advice, he would say, if you believe your principles bring people greater freedom, you should be happy about it. I've always been excited that I've been a happy conservative, but I've always believed that I've been so fortunate to be an American. My journey to this office was something people wouldn't understand. I grew up in a town of Bakersfield, California, the son of a firefighter, the grandson of immigrants. Parents worked hard, the youngest in my family. Didn't have great wealth. When I got out of high school, I didn't have great grades. Couldn't get a scholarship. Went to community college. Flipped cars to try to pay my way through it. Went to visit some buddies away in college for a weekend. Stopped at the grocery store to cash a check, and I won the lottery. I'm the first in California. It was before Biden economics. It was only 5,000, but it went much further back then. Took my folks to dinner, put the majority of the rest of the money into the stock market, and did pretty well. The next semester, I took a break from school. I went to buy a franchise, but no one said they would sell me one. I was only 20 years old. But I learned then never to give up. So I opened my own business, selling sandwiches. 3 things I learned. First to work.
Did it say he gonna open his own business selling sandwiches? I respect him. He's selling sandwiches. Ain't nothing, listen, nothing is more American than a sandwich. I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. Nothing is more American than a sandwich. All right? I want me a sandwich right now. And hopefully I'm talking loud enough for my wife to hear me so she can bring me a sandwich. A little bit of bacon, a little bit of eggs, sprinkle a little bit of salt and pepper on that bad boy. Toast the bread, cut it in half. That's what I'm talking about. I would love to have me a sandwich. All right? I'm sorry to get stuck on the sandwich point. That kind of really, he's speaking to my spirit animal right there. When you talk about sandwiches,
Last to leave, last to be paid. I wanted to finish my college degree. At that time, no one in my family had finished a 4-year degree. I did pretty well. I now had enough money that I could pay my way through school as long as I went to Cal State.
Okay.
So I sold my business, going to school. I opened up the local paper and said, be a summer intern in Washington.
Okay.
For those who spoke on the floor, I thank them for their positive talk. I don't know what those who voted against and said there was some deal, they were never a part of any deal. For those who said about what we accomplished, I'm proud of what we accomplished. From the Parents' Bill of Rights, to our energy bill. But if they want to hold me liable because the Senate didn't take it up or the president didn't take it up, that's politics for what I know. But the one thing I do know, this country is too great for small visions of those 8. To any child that are listening and who are coming to visit the Capitol, this is a place I want you to visit.
Bro, talk about why you got fired.
I think you should put the country first. You know, this job was never about me. I hope you felt that I always felt, what can we do best to move forward?
I would say one thing, that's clean. That's a clean suit he got on. That is a clean suit right there. That's a nice suit, man, for real. Nice tie, everything, man. He's a clean brother. I like that. You know, his presentation is awesome. I've seen some people who look as raggedy as me, looking like a YouTuber. Some of them politicians, they look like YouTubers, bro. Like, well, there's some YouTubers that look amazing. I'm talking about like me. I'm just looking like a regular ass YouTuber. I'm just a regular YouTuber.
Yeah, boy.
You know, who likes sandwiches.
I treated Hakeem the way I wanted to be treated. I'd tell him things we were doing throughout, so he never was questioned. I wanted to bring the body back differently. We created a select committee on China, changed the Intel committee. They just came back from MIT where they all had bipartisan briefing on AI and quantum. Started doing briefings with AI the whole conference of Republicans and Democrats alike. We're far from solving that problem, but I'm proud of what we were able to do there. So we'll continue. Yes, sir.
When did you make this decision? Did you know the motion eventually succeeded that you would not run again, or was this right afterwards?
You know, not all those 8, but these are the same people that never voted for me. They thought it was big. They went to present after we went through 15 rounds. Why do I do something for myself that can hurt the country? Why create? I'm not quite sure those individuals are looking to be productive. It concerns me as a Republican based upon watching what they do. I want to be a Republican and a conservative that governs. And we're going to have to find our way to do that. The challenge is we had so many opportunities. These are the same people that sat on the floor and criticized me that we didn't get all 12 spending bills done, but we first had to do a debt ceiling that they didn't support. They held up every appropriation bill in the summer because they wouldn't let it come through. After the debt ceiling, they stopped us from doing anything on the floor. When we had a continuing resolution that would do something on the border, I listened to one talk about how it made him think about the border and when he voted against it. And then they wanted to challenge me because I worked with the other side so America could go forward and government could stay open. You know, if you have to lose for something, I will always lose for the country. It is a much better battle to have. Change the rules. Do you think I let it? I mean, for the whole point, I mean, if you talk about like a Gaetz, Gaetz came to the whole conference and said, we'll never use this. You know, I mean, this is a man that sat there on the 14th vote and said, okay, I'm going to vote for you next time, and falls back and not. So, I mean, it's just the trustworthiness of a lot of individuals. It makes it difficult. But I do not think, regardless of who the speaker is, that you should have that rule. You know, everybody had it but Pelosi, but it was never used until it started getting used against Boehner. And if the entire other, if you can always count on the other party to vote in the block against it, then you're allowing 4 to 5 people to control whatever. So it doesn't matter even if you have 96%.
You know what I haven't heard from him? I haven't heard from him what he could have done better. I haven't heard from him anything about that. So I'm really not, I don't know. I'm not really hearing anything.
No. And, you know, I have a lot of respect for Hakeem.
All right, we'll continue to monitor that. But back with me now is Congressman Matt Gaetz. Congressman, I know you've been listening in to former Speaker McCarthy's comments. He name-checked you and said, number one, you're not a real conservative because you don't want to govern conservatively. He also said...
Oh, he called you out. He name-checked Matt Gaetz. This dude name-checked Matt Gaetz. I'm going to title the video that. He name-checked that, bruh. He name-checked that fool.
Said that this really was personal, intimating that you're really PO'd, that he didn't step in and put down that ethics investigation into you. And he knows it's personal, and you know it's personal. And you say?
That's totally false. I'm the most investigated man in the entire United States Congress. I've been cleared by the FBI.
Hold on, before he goes forward, I'm gonna let him speak, and I'm not even going to cut him off. I promise, guys. But I will say this: Kevin McCarthy showed no signs of responsibility. Usually, when a person is fired, it's for a reason. When you start to play that victim game, like, well, the reason why I did everything right. I mean, I was perfect, bro. I did everything right. They was just mad at me. They just some haters. They was hating on me, talking behind my back. I didn't do what they wanted to do, so they conspired to get me up out of there. But I did everything right. Go and look at my record. That right there is disingenuous and make you look weak. It make you look weak as hell. Kevin McCarthy, I was trying to give you benefit of the doubt before because I'm trying to figure out, did you do exactly what was needed to be done as the speaker, all right? And only thing you did was pat yourself on the back. Tell the people why you're so great. Tell the people that you used to sell sandwiches and flip cars and how you became rich. You just walked through it like, oh man, this is how I didn't have anything. You know, me and my parents, we slept on the mud in Baltimore, and I started flipping sandwiches and cars, and just became rich. I just put some money in the stock market, and voila! And now I'm here. You know, it's the glory to God. You ain't even give God thanks, bruh. You ain't thank God, man. He ain't even thank God for his successes. Everything was about me. And if it wasn't for Matt Gaetz, I would still have my job, but I ain't tripping. I ain't mad. I ain't salty. Bruh, you sound like Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what you sound. That's how salty you sound. You think you're hiding it, but I see it. You sound like Sodom and Gomorrah. Why did I say Sodom and Gomorrah? Because of the salt. Y'all know the story about the salt. Never mind.
DOJ, the Federal Election Commission.
But you don't think that McCarthy did enough to stop this? I mean, wasn't that well known that you were mad that he didn't do enough to stop that investigation? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being mad, by the way.
I'm not. By the way, the beginning of Speaker McCarthy's comments there were lovely and nice about his past and his history. But when he says we're not conservative because we didn't vote to secure the border, I think that does merit a response. We passed a Department of Homeland Security border bill that would have required E-Verify with a host of other reforms. Then on a continuing resolution, Kevin McCarthy wanted us to surrender every other fight. Jack Smith, weaponized government, everything else going on just to isolate the border thing. Now, I don't believe that the way conservatives get ahead is surrendering everything but the border in order to address the border. And I don't think that the way to address the border is to pass E-Verify and then say that the strong border position is the abandonment of E-Verify in a vote that occurs 14 hours later.
Well, you're not going to get the border done like the way we want to do it until you get the numbers. You're not going to get that border. You're not going to get what you want on the border. None of us are until you get the numbers in the House and you kick out some of these senators.
Well, I don't think we're going to get, frankly, Laura, I think it's worse than that. I don't think we're going to secure the border until we have the White House. But I also want to address this notion that we aren't conservative.
Why does she keep on trying to cut him off, man? Could you please listen? I mean, this is no disrespect, ladies. All right. What I'm about to say to her is for her and for her only, because I respect and I love the lady. I love the ladies because ladies are amazing. But please, Laura, shut the hell up and let him talk. Please. You brought him on the show for a reason. Now let the man rap. Shut the hell up.
Right? Because what Kevin McCarthy believes about governing is that we have to utilize these continuing resolutions. And if the continuing resolution is conservative enough, if you hang some bells and whistles on it, that really ought to pacify people who are right-leaning throughout the country. I believe that the only way to achieve programmatic reform and to put downward pressure on spending is to do what was done back in the 90s, where every individual bill is conferenced and debated and subject to amendment. And of course, you have to compromise. And of course, you have to govern. Matter of fact, just last week, I voted for 4 appropriations bills after my amendments were largely defeated by House moderates to put further pressure on spending.
That point was made, but they're making the point tonight, Congressman. We only have limited time, so you don't mind me moving on. But we made that point about what you did last week. But look, I think the concern here is that people are seeing your fundraisers instantly going out about this. You're raising money, and it is chaos
I'm eager
right
to
now.
address that.
And,
let's address
is it
the
not
fundraising.
A fundraiser? I think we have a full screen of it.
Yeah.
Is it a fundraiser?
Yo, why is she debating him? This is what I'm talking about. Like, I thought this was a conservative-friendly platform. What's going on here? What am I missing? Do she call herself holding him accountable? Is she being realistic? Is what she's saying making sense? If what she is saying is making sense, then my energy is way off and I apologize. But if she is just a Kevin McCarthy fanboy, and she's highly upset at Matt Gaetz for starting the movement that he started, and she just want to make him look bad. If that's what she's trying to do, first of all, you're failing because you're coming off as a hater right now. She's coming off as a hater right now. What this is what Democrats want to see. This right here, because the rest of the party think that that Matt Gaetz did a good thing by holding Kevin McCarthy accountable, but here you are trying to shut him down. What's going on? Whose side are you on? Whose side are you on?
Or not. And everybody fundraises. Again, I'm not just
by
saying
the way,
that is another criticism of what's going on.
If I can get a word in here. Yeah, if I can get a word in here. I am the only Republican in the entire United States Congress who takes no lobbyist money and no PAC money. So absolutely, I communicate daily, vigorously with regular Americans, because the only way I'm able to advance my political goals is if just regular folks give me $10, $20, $30. And so I will take no lecture from the likes of people who do 3 lobbyist fundraisers a day and trade favors in order to get cash from special interests on how I raise money. And I take deep offense to anyone who wants to criticize the mailman, the active duty service member, the grandmother who believes in me and goes to MacGates.com to donate. Matter of fact, I hope they do that right now. And I'm not sorry for it at all, because I won't take the lobbyist and PAC money like every other person here does.
Damn! He shut your ass down. He shut you down to Chinatown. Yeah, he did. And he pointed out the fact that a lot of y'all are selling your souls. And for some strange reason, whenever there's another person like myself or like Trump who are not selling out to other people, y'all hate them. I thought they was on the same side. What am I missing here? It kind of seemed like conservatives are separated on purpose. What am I missing? I'm gonna let y'all know this right now. If this type of attitude happens and all of this infighting keep on happening, bruh, you can kiss Trump 2024 goodbye, because there will be some nastiness going on that will make sure that he won't get the job. And guess what? It's gonna go over your heads. You're gonna miss it because you're so busy fighting each other like she want to do him. This dude said, man, I get, and I like the way he plugged at MacGates.com. Make sure y'all go and get his man some money so that he can continue to do his job, because he's not being bought out like the rest of these clowns.
I think that's awesome that you don't. I think it's fantastic. By the way, do you plan to stay in the House? Have you thought of running for office, like maybe the governor's race in 2026? What is your thought there?
You know what, Laura? I think I'm exactly where I need to be, doing exactly what I need to be doing. What
You're not thinking about it at all.
Is ensuring that we have, what's that?
You're not thinking about it at all? I mean, come on. You're an ambitious guy. And again, there's nothing wrong with it. But why are we playing cute here?
I'm not running for governor in 2026. I am here serving in the House in 2023 trying to get a budget. Why is it that when I'm trying to get a budget and single subject bills and a return to pre-COVID spending, all everyone's interested is in a political race that's 3 years from now? I am here doing this job. My voters elected me to do this, and that is what I have endeavored to do, at times with a very small group of people, but dedicated people, because we have to send a shockwave through Washington, D.C.
Well,
we have to change this town. We have to change the system.
Congressman, President Trump took to Truth Social this afternoon, and he said that why is it the Republicans are always fighting among themselves? Why aren't they fighting the radical left Democrats who are destroying our country? Now, I know you've had conversations with President Trump, and you intimated that he was, you understood where he was coming from, and it seemed to indicate that maybe he was in favor of what you were doing, but wasn't going to say so publicly. What can you tell us tonight, since he really is the leader of the party, and you are a MAGA Republican, and he's the top dog? So what do you say?
Absolutely. I support President Trump, eager to campaign with him. Probably our private conversations I'm going to keep to us, but I think I'm in pretty good stead with the former president. You'll see me on the campaign trail with him soon. And by the way, you know who you won't see on the campaign trail at a big rally? Kevin McCarthy. Because if Kevin McCarthy took the stage at a Trump rally, he would be booed off of it like Lindsey Graham.
Wow.
Congressman, do you think that, let's say next year, and who knows how this is all going to play out, but next year, November, whatever it is, 8th, 5th, 6th, Republicans lose the House of Representatives because Democrats think this is going to help them. They wanted McCarthy out. The Democrats wanted McCarthy out just as much, looks like, as you did. So let's say Republicans lose the House. Will you feel any regret for having done what you did today?
Absolutely not. I believe that we were destined to lose the House if we didn't do what we did today, because we didn't give anyone something to believe in. I've traveled all over this country, and I have seen the despondence and the sadness in conservatives who don't believe that Republicans in Congress are fighting enough for them. Half of your monologues every night are about the failures of House conservatives to really dig in and fight. You are in many ways a true north to try to help us focus on the things that matter in these contentious debates and discussions over legislation. But you know what? We're not going to lose the House. And you know why? Because Donald Trump is going to drag a bunch of people to victory who probably wouldn't have deserved it otherwise. But that's what happened in 2016. 2020 was another good year for Republicans at the congressional level. So when Trump's on the ballot, we do pretty well, and I suspect that we'll do well when he's our nominee.
Shout out to Matt Gaetz, man. I don't know the cat all like that, but I'm gonna say this. I think that he's a stand-up guy. He's a stand-up guy based off of what I just know. So I don't understand what Fox News is doing. That confuses the hell out of me. And I'm gonna let you know this. It will also confuse the hell out of anyone who don't understand how conservatives are moving right now. I don't understand the conservative plan. I don't get it because it seemed like she did not like Matt Gaetz. She called him a MAGA Republican. So you even have conservatives calling other conservatives a MAGA Republican simply because you don't rock with the person that they support. So you're putting that energy out there already that you clearly don't rock with Trump. So you're not going to be supporting Trump on your platform in 2024 when it's time to vote. You're going to be still against him. I don't get what's the plan? Somebody tell me the plan, because it don't seem like they're together. It seemed like they're apart like a mug. Guys, thank y'all so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. Trump for House Speaker. Trump for House Speaker. And let's see what happened.